So welcome everybody, and a huge thank you to Natacha for offering to come and share her wisdom with us around Horneyvians and Harmonics. By way of a brief introduction, Natacha is an Enneagram Evangelist. I love that term. As a teacher, trainer, researcher, and coach, she always finds guidance in the wisdom of the Enneagram. She spreads that inspiration and wisdom to Enneagram coaches, leaders, teams, and seekers all over the world. Natacha is an IEA accredited Enneagram professional, a certified Enneagram practitioner, certified by Russ Hudson and Integrative Enneagram, certified Enneagram teacher through Russ Hudson, professional certified coach, ICF accredited with 10 or more than 10 years of practical experience, a mentor of Enneagram coaches, a proud member of the Enneagram faculty for Integrative Enneagram Solutions, a host in her own Enneagram community of practice in Dutch, 9gram.academy is the website, and soon hopes to be the author of a practical book on triadic coaching with the Enneagram. So that sounds really impressive. So thanks, Natacha. And over to you to lead us in our quick check-in breakout rooms.
Yeah, great. So let me share my screen real quick because I have actually a prompt for you ready. So this is a prompt I would like to offer you. And the question is, so when or how do I tend to lose connection with others? So the idea is to do a quick check-in with each other, about 5 minutes, Renata. That's fine for you?
Yeah, set it up for 5 minutes. And also just an opportunity to meet some interesting people. We have people from other countries in the room as well, from all over the world. So we're going to break out for 5 minutes, and there'll be an extra minute to come back. The Zoom will bring you back automatically. So have fun and enjoy your discussions, and we'll see you back in 6 minutes. Hi. Okay, welcome back. Sasha, over to you.
Welcome back, everyone. Actually, I will not debrief this little breakout we had. So let it sink in, let it percolate, and learn maybe or be inspired by it. And so let me run you real quick through the agenda of today. Agenda sounds so serious. So actually, today I want to really focus our time on doing the exercises, and we will really need the time we have. And I will still dip our toes a little bit in theory, but like I said, not too much, because we could use up the whole time theorizing this thing. So the green stuff are the exercises, and the two last ones we might not have time to do them, but you'll get them anyway, so you can test and try them out on your own and see how they work for you. And so let me still real quick go back to giving a short intro on Horneyvians and Harmonics. So actually, you are aware of how we all have preferences in Horneyvians and Harmonics, or social and conflict styles, or interaction styles, whatever you want to call them. And so that on itself, that's not a problem. However, what is bothering us is that we always rely on the same patterns. And so to get what we want, and if we don't get what we want, we kind of impose our harmonic preferences or our conflict styles on other people, which is really leading, it's making us suffer and making other people suffer. And so the aim of today is kind of look into how can we soften that a little bit, how can we create awareness around it, and with a really practical tool also kind of move towards something else, not because we have to, because we kind of realize how we really will get more of what we want by doing so. So that's the invitation. So you can already start to think around for later on a conflict or a tension you have with someone, and use that as a real practical topic to practice today together. So I want to start off actually with this slide on essential qualities. So this is a slide around the qualities here that I've been kind of working on for years. The aim was here actually to try to put some words to what these essences, these 9 essences actually mean. And so it helps us remember, really, in my opinion, to when we have these words, to remember who we are in essence, even if, like you see, I've chosen a set of words, and it's not possible for us almost to kind of get an idea of what they really mean. And the thing is, we have a perceived loss of essence, of essential qualities, as you know. And so it means like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in us do not believe that we still carry this essence. And that is an illusion, because essence is available to us any given moment. And if we would remember that, actually, we would not need Horneyvians and Harmonic strategies to get what we want, or deal with the situation when we don't get what we want. So to me, this sheet really helps us remember of what also the true genius is of the Hornevian and Harmonic triads, because they're right here. This is what it's actually about. And so we want to recreate, coming from our personality, these essences so badly that we force our social and conflict styles upon other people. We create tension, have conflict escalate, and again, so this is for me the real starting point for us to dive into this topic and try to get an idea of what our relationship really is with these elements. And so we will be talking about a fixated way of using Hornevians and Harmonics, or social and conflict styles. So it's kind of this black and white thinking. I'm only using this, for instance, I'm an assertive person, or I could never be an assertive person. Those are illusions. Those are just an idea, because the 3 Hornevian and 3 Harmonic triads are part of us. This is our true nature. And fixated would mean this is the only way our type tries to make us stay stuck in a narrative of this is the only way. So we show them from the shadow side, the low side, and it's really ruining our relationships. And when we can see that, this is a life changer. And integrated would mean integrating 3 Hornevians and 3 Harmonics, which means actually each time all those styles. So that's a lot for us to remember, right? And so I kind of was thinking about how could we work with this in a way that it is feasible for us humans, right? And have this real feeling and sensing and knowing, like, actually I'm getting more of what I want, and it's not that hard to use for me. And so integrated in general would mean we use all of them in a more balanced way, adapted to the situation, an improvement, a win-win actually, good for you, good for me. Also a real effective way of being in the world and also serving the greater good. So there's a lot at stake here, and it is actually a game changer because it helps us move from the human doing towards the human being. And this is only possible for us when we come from a tree-centered presence. And as you know, that is not an easy thing to do for us, because like this, we're triggered and we lose presence, and we really present something else. And so when we can bring this from a positive intention, mirror what is given to us by someone else, even if it's from the, like we call it, the low side of an Horneyvian or Harmonic, we can still mirror that and bring our presence to that and really see the gem in not only the situation, also in the other person or people, depending on the situation we're in. So real quick, so Horneyvian social styles or interaction styles, Harmonics conflict styles. How do I get what I want? Our social stances, and so you can see here little kind of small definitions here. How do we really achieve what our type wants, but what the essence can bring forth as well? How do we approach the world? How do we also deal with conflicts? It's really important, because when we feel the tension, when we do not actually get what we want, the Horneyvians will run in the background, the social styles, and we kind of add an extra strategy, which will be our conflict styles, to react and to still try to get what we want, even if it's not happening in that moment. By the way, you are receiving the slides and the coaching toolboxes, the exercises and everything. So you don't have to write down everything. The conflict styles are oftentimes thought of, well, this is the way we argue, and that can be true, and it's much more. So like I said, it's actually the way we try to avoid conflict in the first time, so we don't get what we want. Social styles are still running in the background, and there's tension at hand, or maybe a conflict at hand. And then this is the way we try to avoid conflict, hence the name Harmonics. We're trying to create harmony. So it's an approach when we are stuck with someone, dealing with setbacks, dealing with conflict. So these are really important in our communications on a daily basis. And so again, real quick, I'm running you in a real quick way through the Horneyvians, but of course, because you will receive this information, you have time afterwards to go into more detail if you would want to. And so actually, the Horneyvian triads are the assertive, the compliant, and the withdrawn triads. So when you can see the colors combined here to see which types are using which ones as a preference, and actually let me show them all at once. When you look at these discern the high side and the low side. So the high side is beneficial behavior that will be of benefit for you and for me in a certain situation. So this is the genius, the beauty. The high side is really going to the high side of the type we mean, kind of reaching towards what we would expect coming from the essence point. While the low side is also there in all of us. And so you kind of see the keywords here, and these are actually also ways in which we manipulate other people, and it is definitely our shadow side, and it is hard for us to really see how we do this, how we manipulate other people. And it'd be like, what? No, I'm not manipulating. Yes, you are. Yes, I am. We all are manipulating. And so to get what we want coming from our personality, and seeing the truth of that is really important. So for instance, the type 3 is manipulating and trying to charm others and adapting an image that works. The type 7 would for instance, distract others to get what they want and insist on meeting their demands. The 8 would be manipulating by insisting that people do as the 8 says they have to do, and things like that. And for instance, for the compliant triad, the 1 will insist on following rules, correcting others. It's this way, this or that thing should be. The 2 is identifying needs of others and desires, and trying to make sure that others will be dependent on them. The 6 will be complaining and testing, for instance, the commitment of other people. The 4, that's my core type. Yes, I do this. I will make other people walk on eggshells. My partner will definitely say, yes, she does that. The 5 will be, for instance, engrossed and being emotionally distant from other people. And the 9, the checking out, the passive aggressive way of dealing with things. And so we all do this. So this is part of being human. And if we can really pay attention and recognize how we do this, that is definitely, yeah, a great basis for change, for choosing something else, because we will get more of what we want. And so actually what you see here on the screen is based on the theory by Rizzo and Hudson, Scrambling of the Centers. So, and it shows beautifully how the assertive triad is dealing with this imbalance in the feeling center. So they have a preference for the thinking and action center, and losing connection to the feeling center. And so they have this tendency to act without feeling, really. And you can easily see the differences between 3, 7, and 8 when you dive into, what do you think, the vice, obviously, that will kind of inform which kind of assertiveness will be used by our personalities. So for the compliant triad, there is an imbalance in the thinking center, and the 1, the 2, and the 6 will have a preference for the feeling and action center, and they lost connection to the thinking center. And so they really comply to the superego, so in the fixated way of thinking around topics. And again, the vice will inform how the 1, the 2, and the 6 are going about that. For the withdrawn triad, they have a preference for feeling thinking, and they lost connection to the action center. I definitely, absolutely recognize that. That is absolutely how I personally struggle as well. And so there is an imbalance around meaningful action. And again, here, how the vice is making sure this is going on and on and on endlessly if we don't wake up to ourselves. Now, I would like to actually invite you to an exercise on Horneyvians. And so this will be our first exercise, and we will do this plenary. And it's a kind of it's a very different exercise than we will do around harmonics. And so this is an exercise for which I would like to invite you to close your eyes, because the idea will be that I guide you through a process, and it has a glimpse of NLP there. It's an exercise that helps us remember the true essences that are available in us and the genius of the Horneyvians and Harmonics. So before you really close your eyes, I kind of forgot to mention at the beginning, it would be really handy if you have a piece of paper and a pen close by, because during the exercise, at several points, I will invite you to write down something. And so this exercise is actually around how this beautiful assertiveness, the dutifulness, the withdrawn stance, they're actually naturally available in all of us, the full range. And so these they carry such an intelligence that is even beyond comprehension for us. They are so beautiful in how they can, how they actually are ready to support us fully in life. And our reality is that as soon as we lose presence, 95% of the time, we don't have the bandwidth actually to hold that intelligence, so to speak. And so we get identified with, I'm the assertive one, or I'm the dutiful one, for instance. And by doing that, actually, we reject parts or the full intelligence of certain Horneyvians. And that's a pity, of course, because they are, like I said, available to us in any single moment. And believing that it's not true, that's an illusion. That's our illusion. It's a distortion of reality. And so, again, I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep exhale out. And let's do that a couple of times to really make sure the exhale is a tad longer than the inhale. And so assertiveness, dutifulness, being withdrawn are 100% naturally a part of you, and you can allow them whenever you want. You only have to remember that this is who you are. And so the natural temperaments of points 3, 7, and 8 are available in all of us, also in you, inside of you. And in a moment, I will help you remember what true assertiveness is really about. And as soon as those words are being transmitted, you go back to a situation in your life, however small or big, doesn't matter, a long time ago, maybe it was today, doesn't matter, a situation where you experienced these things, even if it's only one word in the list I will give you. So take a deep exhale, a deep inhale, excuse me, a long exhale, and there we go. Practical. Being energetic in life. Active engagement. Independently going for what you want. Taking action with confidence. actively and directly expressing your needs. Taking the lead and guiding others without difficulty and with pleasure. At least once in your life, you experience this or some of it. Visualize that you are back in that situation. Where was it? Where were you? When was it? Was there anyone else present? See what you can remember around that situation. And now go deeper into that situation and experience how it is to tap into your natural assertiveness in this moment. The moment you remember, the moment you are able to go deeper into, because your body is remembering every single aspect of that situation. Even if you're not aware of the details anymore, your body knows. Your body really knows what true assertiveness looks like. Now put both hands on your heart. Help your body remember how the intelligence of true assertiveness only comes forward when the higher heart is involved. True assertiveness only comes forward when the higher heart is involved. Let that sink in for a moment. What does your intelligent heart has to say about true assertiveness? And when you receive an answer, you can open your eyes and write down one word. Write down one word to remember you, to help you remember what your natural true assertiveness looks like. And now you can close your eyes again, and we will move to dutifulness. So the natural temperaments of points 1, 2, and 6 in all of us, in you. And again, in a moment, I will support you in remembering what true dutifulness is about. And as soon as you receive those words, you go back to a situation in your life where you experienced all of it, or just a portion of it. Something that reminds you of being dutiful. So there we go again. Adapt it. taking personal responsibility. Committed to agreements made and to what is important. Aligned, both internally and externally. Loyal and reliable in serving others. Aware of needs and expectations of others. Sacrificing for the greater good or higher purpose. And again, at least once in your life, you have experienced this, or some of it. Remember a situation where that was true. And visualize that you are back in that exact situation. Remember, where was it? When? Was there anyone else present? Look around, see what you can remember. And then go still a little bit deeper into that situation. Sink in it as deep as you can. And experience how it is to tap into your true, natural beautifulness. Right in the moment. Now put both hands on your head. Help your body remember what true beautifulness is and how it only comes forward when the open, clear mind is involved. And what does your intelligent mind say about true beautifulness? Receive the answer, open your eyes, and write one word down. And then you can close your eyes for one last time. And be ready to explore the withdrawn intelligence. So the natural temperaments of points 4, 5, and 9 in all of us, also within you. And like before, I will support you in remembering what being withdrawn in an intelligent way looks like. And as soon as you take in those words, you go back to a situation where you have experienced this. So close your eyes, receive the words, and there we go again. Reflective, autonomous, being able to take distance. Seeing and applying new approaches through introspection. Being able to remain in the background. Connect to the inner world of creativity, imagination. At least once in your life, you have experienced this, or parts of it. Think of a situation and visualize that you're right back in that situation. When was it? Where? Who was there? See for yourself what you can remember. And now even go a little bit deeper into that situation. Sink really in it. And experience how it is to tap into your true, natural dutifulness, withdrawnness, withdrawnness in that moment. Now put both hands on your belly. This way you help your body remember how the intelligence of true withdrawnness only comes forward when the engaged body is involved. What is your intelligent body has to say about true withdrawnness? So again, take some time to write one word down. And by anchoring those three styles, assertiveness, dutifulness, withdrawnness, in your body, you make new neurological connections. You will refine them or make them stronger. Because the body never lies, the body remembers. And at the same time, guess who will be in between trying to convince us of something else? Our personalities, obviously. So we need some time, if we choose to remember, to pay attention. And so those keywords can really help you. So if you would put them visibly somewhere in your living space, in your car, on your computer, wherever you want to, you can support yourself in keeping those neurological connections strong and strong. We actually need 6 months to really help us really embody those qualities, remember those qualities. So, all right, I hope that was a nice experience for you. And I will not take, it's a little bit strange maybe, but I will still not take time to debrief this. But feel free to put something in the chat if you would like to share something, because I want to take you to still a little bit of background around the harmonics, because we will be doing a bigger exercise around those in breakout rooms. And so we need our time to explore those elements. So again, a little bit of information on both intelligence and shadow of the harmonic triads. And again, to repeat that the aim of the harmonics really is to avoid conflict. The problem with that, however, is that we're not awake. So we're not present, and without being present, there's no way we can access the essential qualities that go with that specific harmonic. It's as simple as that. And so we will use them, so to speak, in a fixated way, in a defensive way, and we end up in our shadow or the low side, the less healthy behavior of our type and tri-type. Tri-type, if you're not aware of that concept, so it's the preference we have in each center. And will be one style in each center that we will use more than the other ones. And one of these, obviously, is our core type, the type we were probably born with. And so if we're coming from a fixated way, we lose compassion and we impose, like I said before, our harmonic on the other person without knowing. And this will probably escalate the tension or the conflict, and we will never get what we want this way. So what else is possible for us? That is what we will explore together. And here you see the triads of the harmonics. So we combine now the 1, the 3, and the 5, the 2, 7, and 9, the 4, the 6, and the 8. And I am showing you again these 3 columns here. And I don't know if you are actually aware of your preferences in harmonics. With the previous exercise on Horneyvians, that didn't matter actually, because the idea there was to start from the unity, the wholeness, what is already there for us, waiting in any given moment, all of it. For the next exercise, it's actually important that we know our stacking. So which one do we use as a preference? What is the second one and what is the blind one? And if you are not really aware of that, oftentimes it's easier for us to look at the low side of this behavior. Because oftentimes we will recognize, by the way, we use all of them, and we still have a preference, and we also probably have a blind spot. For some of us, that is really visible. For instance, if we have a triad type, which is all positive outlook, like 2, I'm a 2, and I have 7 and 9 in my triad type, triple positive outlook. There it's very much aimed at the preference is very clear. Sometimes we have 1 in each. And then it's a little harder sometimes, but we still have a blind spot, and that blind spot is actually a very important way for us, a way in for us to really reach some gold there, as I like to put it. And so you will be looking into this more in detail, but you can also already right now start to kind of think around your stacking. When I work with people and myself, I use the IQ9, the coaching companion, which is the assessment. IQ9 is the assessment by Integrative Enneagram Solutions, and it gives a real clear view on our preferences in both Horneyvians and Harmonics. So that's a handy tool to have. If you don't have that, we still get we still kind of know where we are most of the time. And like I said, the low side is oftentimes a really nice, not nice, it's not nice, but a good way to see our truth in this, and to see what is actually probably our dominant one and our blind spot. So, and again here, when we have a preference for rational competency, and we are really fixated in using that one, there is always an imbalance in agreements, rules, and structures. And again, there you can see the differences in how a type 1, a type 3, and a type 5 will go about that pushed through the reactive heart by the vice. And For the positive outlook, there it is more an imbalance in dealing with needs. Let me go back real quick because I'm going really fast now. And so let me give Ingrid.
What do you mean by imbalance there? I'm not clear what you mean.
That's why I'm coming back, actually, because I realized I was going way too fast. I want to go take us into the exercise, but we don't need this really for the exercise, but it's still interesting to think around in your own situation. For instance, when I'm a type 1, how would I create an imbalance? By being way too strict around agreements, rules, and structures. This is how it is, and there's no way around it. I'm really strict. When I'm a type 5, I can be like, you know, I don't have to deal with those silly people, for instance. All those rules they make up, they're just silly. I have my own rules. I don't have to answer emails, for instance. So they can really create an imbalance there. Where a type 3 is kind of in the middle. They will sometimes follow agreements, rules, and structures if it makes them move faster, be more successful. But if it's not good for them, they will kind of shove them apart, away, and just go about the thing the way they want to deal with the situation, and not take rules and structures into account, for instance. So if it's helpful, yes. If no, no way. All right, is that clear, Ingrid? All right, awesome. So let's go to the positive outlook. Here we have an imbalance in dealing with needs. So as a type 2, I will be all over the place in dealing with your needs, not so much with my needs. I don't have needs. That's my pride as a 2. As a 7, I will deal with my needs. It's like the opposite of the 2, like my needs, your needs, you deal with your stuff, I deal with my stuff. That's more the 7. And that can create tension. And the 9 again is in between, in the way that they can really ignore their own needs in the self-forgetting, but also not be dealing with what is needed in a situation by another person. They often get the feedback, well, you're here, but you're not really here. Where are you? Wake up, or something like that. So there's an imbalance in needs. The emotional realness, there is an imbalance in relational, patterns. So this is transactional analysis. If you're aware of that, you can actually have the role of the parent or the role of the child. But in normal adult relationships, that does not apply. There's an equality. There's no reason why one person would be higher or lower than another person. However, as a type 4, I know that very well, that I can really put myself lower than other people. What is wrong with me that they get this? And for me, it seems so hard. So that's when I recognize that pattern, I know I'm in a fixated state. So I put myself lower. The 8 does the opposite. Like the parent, I will tell you how it's done and you will listen. This is my way or the highway. So there's an imbalance in the relationship, in a fixated state, obviously. And the 6, they confuse people because they can behave very, coming from the angst, very childish and small, or be really bossy and tell you how it's done because they want to feel safe and belong, and they're kind of testing you. So just as a background, first to remember, yes, we do this. Can we see this? Can we recognize this? And this is how we really can ruin our relationships, and this is hurting us and other people. And so I want to take you, if you're up to, in an exercise, and that exercise is based on the idea that actually we keep ourselves stuck in a fixated state by relying on 2 harmonics, which we will use in the lower side in a fixated way. And we have a blindness for the third harmonic. And so this creates a stuckness. So when we have, let me quickly go back. We have here on the high side, you get an idea what is actually possible with this beautiful harmonics, the rational competency, for instance, or the positive outlook, the emotional realness. What is the beauty, the genius of these strategies? This is just amazing stuff. We are amazing creatures when we can present ourselves in this way. This is just mind-blowing what we can create as a reality. We lose that completely in the fixation, and the rational competency becomes over-rationality. The emotional realness becomes reactivity. The positive outlook becomes escapism. So this will never lead us anywhere. This gets us in deep, deep trouble. And so the way I look at this is, what if we keep ourselves stuck in two patterns? So for instance, the first would be, I have a blind spot in positive outlook. So I'm kind of stuck between reactivity and escapism. And this is low side. This means low frequency polarity. So low, dark, heavy energy. Or I can have a blind spot in the emotional realness and being stuck between the over-rationality and the escapism. So I'm handling a situation, and I'm over-relying on over-rationality, pushing that on you, and escapism at the same time, being stuck between that. Or I can go and be stuck in this polarity of over-rationality and reactivity, and have a blind spot in the positive outlook, for instance. And so this is my invitation to, so we will be doing an exercise in 3 steps. And each time we will explore this in a breakout room in pairs. And maybe Renate, you can, if Renate is there, because she had to step out for a moment. So Ingrid, if you could make a breakout room of 14 minutes and 1 minute to leave the room, and for pairs, okay, for you. And so we will do this exercise in 3 steps. So the first step, excuse me, will be how we kind of explore the polarity we are probably stuck in. Is that true for you? So I will share in the chat a sheet which you can use to inform yourself, where am I actually? So it will have the low sides of everything. So there's a lot of information here. So I know this is a little bit overwhelming. By the way, as a heads up, you will receive also from me each time a sheet. Oh, it's not here. I kind of blinded this, but you will receive a sheet where there's always one blinded. The blind spot is indicated. So, but for the sake, because otherwise it gets too complicated, because we don't know who has preferences in what. So you have to see for yourself in which polarity are you stuck. For instance, in my case, that is definitely reactivity and over-rationality. And I tend to go between those. And so the idea is that in pairs, you will read those little lines here and kind of, if only one example of how you do this, kind of explore, oh yeah, that's actually true for me. And it's easier if you start from a specific realistic situation, a conflict or a tension you had with another person. So it's way more easy to explore that. So let me unshare, and I will, so meanwhile, let me know if it's clear for you or not clear, or what is not clear. That's easier actually. Let me, where is my chat here? And I will share a sheet, and please do check if you can find the one. So it's a file and it's called Step 1. Easy. Well, the title is a tad longer, but it should be in the chat in a moment. There it is.
Maybe put that slide up again and let people take a screenshot or a picture on their phone, because there was a lot of nice detail on that slide.
Okay, I'll share again, but it is in the chat already. So there is a PDF, and I'll for those of you who cannot download it or are on their phone and it's more complex. Oh, I have to share for everyone, not only for myself. That's not useful. All right, so you can take a screenshot if you could not find it in the chat. All right, for everyone. So the idea is to explore which two harmonics am I relying on, or you can also easily define maybe which is my blind spot, and then you work with the other two if that's easier for you. Okay, Ingrid, are you ready?
I'm just checking if there's an equal allocation, because I know Kim, you are together in one room, so you're going to have a live in-person breakout room. Very lucky. And I'm going to open these rooms now, and you said it's 15, hey, Natasha?
14, but 15 is, I'm looking at the time also, because
Okay.
yeah, that's why actually.
Okay, I'm going to open them now.
I'm stingy with my time today. You have noticed, because that's me. It's like I'm really gluttonous. I want to give you everything, but that's like not possible.
Okay, let's go. I've opened the rooms, and I'm going to pause the recording.
Everybody ran, tired of slow nights. So I'm really aware of how exploring that low side polarity is a nasty thing, isn't it? It's like, that's not really where we want to be at. And still seeing that reality is really important. And so I promise you the next step is way more pleasant, because what we're going to do is actually, when you hold that kind of, you mentioned that you're being stuck in this low side polarity, what we're going to do now is flip it to the high side. Yay, that's a really nice thing to do, because then we're all like, our egos are like, yes, I'm so awesome, I do this, absolutely. But in this specific topic you chose to work around, it's kind of handy now to explore. So how could I turn that situation around? What is possible here? What was I seeing in the moment, because I was in this fixated state? So that's what we're going to do next. And Ings, if you could, or Renata, if you could make breakouts again of 12 minutes now. And I saw that Eileen, you have a question or a remark?
Yes, no, just very quickly, we, in our discussion, Melody and I were talking about how our instinct really plays into this, or it seemed to for us. Is that accurate from your perspective?
It's always accurate, because instinct is such a, it's like the foundation of everything else. It's much stronger than the type structure. It's biology, right? So it will definitely play a role. And combine type with instinct, then you get subtype. And so there's specific ways our subtype will use these harmonics and Horneyvians and harmonics, because as you remember, the Horneyvians still play a role. They're not gone when we use the harmonics. So absolutely. So it's, to me, it's like a very well crafted card house. It's really elegantly put together. to keep personality in place, because we believe this is how we unconsciously, this is how we will get what we want. And that's the illusion, obviously. So seeing that layer of instinct is very juicy. And if you really would dive into the detail of instinct, then the way Russ Hudson would look at it, or John Lukovich, then you have even more detail, or Chichi, Nico Beckman, so you have more detail on how specifically you can understand that. So that's a really cool exercise actually to explore. All right, so let's do that beautiful light second step. I will be sharing in the chat the sheet you will need for that. And also, obviously, quickly show it to you on the screen what I'm actually talking about. Give me a minute to share again. So it should be in the chat. There it is. If it's not, please do let me know. So now we're going to look at how can we de-escalate a tension or a conflict, and next to that, resolve it even. So that's the beauty of it. So now we're going to explore the high side, like I said before. And so again, like the first time, there's actually 3 options. If you have a blind spot in rational competency, for instance, you will explore now positive outlook and emotional realness from the high side, or rational competency and positive outlook, or rational competency and emotional realness. And so the sheet looks like this. This is the one which is in the chat. If you don't have access to the chat, you can take a screenshot. And we will explore this again for 12 minutes now. All right, so enjoy. And remember how awesome you are at this.
Ing, are you doing breakouts?
Not you.
Okay.
Oh, I sent you a message to say I'm assuming you're still doing them.
Okay.
Because they're going back.
Sorry, I don't
home.
Okay, so that can be a different, it would be actually nice to have a different pair now, if possible. Of course it's possible, but it's extra work for you, Ings.
Are you doing
You
it,
want
Ing?
me to do it? Will you do it?
Okay, sure. So
My
different
turn to
pairs.
have an emergency on my side.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, I've had an emergency happening today. So all right.
Not my emergency.
Okay, let me just, because we can have pairs. There we go. If you're in a room and your person that you're with isn't there, then come out, leave the room, and then we'll pop you into another room. All right. So how many minutes are we doing?
Well, I would say 10,
Well,
because I'm looking at the time. 10 I
okay,
would do.
10 with a minute to come back. We're
The
going
rest
into
you can do
breakout.
on your own.
Okay, we're into
5
breakouts in
minutes
3, 2, 1. I think Jill got mania twice in a row. Jim,
And 3.
welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. So let me share again. And am I actually, because I don't trust Zoom anymore today. All right.
Yes, we can see it.
So this is what you did. And now we're going to explore the blind spot. And I'm looking at time. So, oh my goodness, it's let's do a really, let me explain what let's not maybe do a breakout because we don't have enough time. Let me share what the idea is, and you can do this on your own. So when we would use 3 harmonics, and it is law of 3 logic, obviously, something new can emerge. And so what is missing, even if we're flipping that low side polarity to a high side, we're still kind of in this, we have maybe an insight, we have a more balanced perspective, but to really create a breakthrough in a situation, we need the 3rd harmonic. And as you know, each one carries 3 possibilities. For instance, rational competency, I can choose. I can have 1, 3, or 5. And so this is actually the idea behind my exercise. For instance, if my blind spot would be positive outlook, my low-hanging fruit would be choosing one style that is kind of already close to me. For instance, in my case, that would be 7. And explore that and bring that in the situation. But it gets juicier, and Cynthia Bourgeault calls it the X factor. When we are exploring, so the X factor means actually the difference that would make the difference. And in this case, for us, that would mean what is our blind spot in the blind spot? See what I mean? Which of these styles, for instance, would I use the least often? For instance, if that would be 2, and I would explore 2, that would be like a real breakthrough. But if I would use all 3, that is the juicy stuff of the 3 harmonics here in the positive outlook triad. And why would I work, or would I advise to work with all 3 if there's some bandwidth and there's some possibility for you? Because working with the blind spot is the best option for us. We are already doing 1 harmonic a lot, and a 2nd one probably, but the blind spot, if we fully explore that will really bring online the beauty of that blind spot. And for instance, emotional realness, the same, so you'll have a slide for that as well, and for rational competency, if that should be your blind spot. So you can explore that. And it's actually by seeing, like, and I'm working with these questions here. If you see what is missing, a question you can ask, it kind of gets very reachable. So you can pick out one thing and reflect on that. So for instance, in a situation, how do we actually efficiently reach our common goal? That's higher 3. We're in this together. And that could really create a breakthrough. So that is something for you to test out with a client or with yourself, preferably first. And it really works really nice. And so to finish off, actually, so this is a slide I also like to use to bring a kind of general definition around the 3 harmonics. And the idea is to call this the golden strategy. So if you're in a specific situation and you can mirror the harmonic of the other person on the high side, obviously, kind of really receive it, welcome it, be curious, that will already be really demining. The person can really relax. You will see the body of the other person relax, because we're not rejecting the other by imposing our own harmonic. And the second step is then to embody 3 harmonics. And that sounds a lot, but the good news is you're already good in 1, maybe 2, and there's always 3 possibilities. So you can choose, and you can kind of create your own strategy. And in my case, for instance, I kind of trained myself when I'm in a sticky situation. I know instantly, bring positive outlook. And that when I remember that, the rest will follow like this. And I kind of be like really fluent in it. And I have to say, I have to use this oftentimes. And it really works. And I'm curious to hear from you if it's also working for you. And the second slide, the last exercise is actually, so based on this slide, I call them kickstart questions. And you can use them in very different ways. For instance, you can start with the law of 3, 9, 3, and 6, and then move that further through the law of 7. Go follow the 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1 again. And then go back to 9 again, look at the unity of what is possible. And when do I use this? For instance, if you're really stuck in something big and you really have time to really explore it. So the beauty would be to explore all questions, or you can go about this in a kind of more process Enneagram kind of way, just following 1 to 9. And then start over again. So there's many different possibilities, or just have someone choose one of each, and then kind of demine or explore a situation. So yeah, and then I want to end with this quote, only when we can see reality for what it is, we can transform it. So please be really aware of your shadow in this, because that is really our first step, to see it, to recognize it, and then for us to choose something else and to begin again, any given moment. So I know it went real quick. You didn't even have the chance to finish. And that's actually, yeah, oftentimes it's not easy to kind of fit everything I want in these hours. And I still hope I could give you a glimpse of what is possible with this and with the triadic coaching. And so, you will receive this information, and you will also receive, I kind of call them toolboxes, which you can print and use for yourself. So on 84 format size paper. So really handy tool to have with you in your coaching journey. So we have 2 minutes left. That's not a lot, but I can stay a little bit longer. If you really need to go, please, by all means. And but like I said, I can stay on for as long as needed to answer any other
Thanks,
questions.
Does anybody have a question? And I know that some people will need to leave, and so thanks for being with us. It's lovely to see you all. And Natacha, thank you so much for a wonderful session. That was fantastic.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And thanks for offering to stay for questions. Does anybody have a question or a reflection?
I just
Robert?
want to say thank you, Natacha. I really loved the precision of your thinking. It's really crisp and precise and beautifully laid out. Thank you. It was really lovely.
Thank you so much for that feedback, Ings. Means a lot
Bye,
to me.
Katie. Laurie has got a question. Bye, Susan. Bye, Jill.
Natacha,
Go ahead, Laurie.
I saw a hand. Oh yeah, Laurie. Hi.
thank you. I'll be quick because I know we're on time. Firstly, thank you very much. It was an amazing presentation. I think so I'm a self-pres 1. I'm a 127. So I was looking at my CC, and my emotional realness is my lowest, not positive outlook, competency is my highest. And I guess I'm sitting going, but am I like, how do I incorporate that then? How do I, because I'm almost feeling like, well, I'm thinking that I'm not emotionally unreal. So where's the work for me in that?
Yeah. So actually, the thing is that when it comes out, when you're not present, it will always be the low side. So really exploring what it means, that high side. And that's why I personally found it really handy to kind of really put words on that, to kind of explore that first. And find examples of how you already do that, because you are doing it. And because it's not that you are emotionally unreal, because it is realness, it's still realness. It is actually the way you embody it that will make the difference. And there is what I would suggest for you, coming from point 1, is that there is this innate sensing of how a situation ideally could be. How is goodness available in the situation? And it will help you remember that, first of all, you are a good person. You're coming from a good space. And kind of work with 1 or 2 keywords. And for that, actually, the essence sheet is really helpful. Which of the words there, or maybe 1 word, is really speaking to you? It's almost as if your body can remember, yes, finally, that's what I really want. And if you keep remembering that, kind of almost like put this as a keyword somewhere visibly in your space, you will remember it. And it really helps, because I'm speaking from my own experience here. I was always looking at myself like, oh my goodness, there's like no hope for me. I'm identifying with 4, right? So what's wrong with me that I can? And now I'm like, well, if I can do this, anyone can, because and so it helped. It really, really helped me to look at reality in a different way. And recently, still this week, I was so happy I was in this really difficult situation, which was a moment like this, and everything and everybody exploded, kind of. And it was wonderful to see that just by, I know, just stay present, breathe, and bring something, and then a second thing, and a third thing, and the whole thing kind of, whoo. And after that, we were best friends. I was like, the thing actually works. It's amazing. And we only have to remember. And so it is an illusion. The narrative of our personality it's an illusion. It's not real. The story is not real. What else is possible? And you can sense in your body, if you're coming from this low, dense energy, or this like high positive frequency, it will change everything. So even if you are talking straight language, but if you bring it with a positive intention and with light energy, that's all the difference. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Manya, hi.
Hey, wow, thank you so much. That was just wonderful. So I actually have it's probably a very basic question because it's come up before, but I don't know, can you clarify as quickly as possible? I can't, when you say that the withdrawn are blind in their body, and then there's blind in I'm just wondering how do you get to that? Linking the withdrawn as blind in the body, because that, and then also saying the other's blind in the mind and the other in the heart. How's that triad linked in that way with blindness?
Yeah. So this is based on the theory of the imbalance of the centers. So it is a theory that originates with Gurdjieff. But Gurdjieff was not a person that really explained everything really well. Actually, he didn't. So Risa and Hudson did a great job in their book. Well, actually, the reference is on the slides, so you can easily find it. And that the theory is beautifully explaining how this actually is working. So that alone is a teaching of a couple of hours, that would be. But to make it really practical, so this will come back. Actually, almost all of my exercises in this triadic coaching method are based. All of it is on the law of three, but also on the imbalance of the centers, because it's really helpful to us fours, because I know you identify as well with four, Manja, is that actually, so we're indeed in this triad that kind of pushes the body aside. So in these kind of exercises, it's really important that you explore this and you make it really practical as something you would put in practice, you would do, and even in the simplicity of how would you embody that? How would you sense that you're doing the thing? Great. Yes. And so that's really helpful, because our body has a memory. So if it's as simple as, actually, these are just neurological connections that are not well trained, but they're available. The 4, the 5, and the 9 only need to kind of keep embodying it, and it's different for everyone. So I hope that helps.
It does, but I need to know the resource to go to see how it developed, Natacha. How we know that it's the 4, 9, and
4,
6
5, 9.
and 5.
4, 5, 9. Yeah.
Are withdrawing, like how that was identified as a body element that was.
Yeah. So that's it'll take us way too long to explain that, because I would suggest, or I can well, no, I cannot share someone else's work, but I have to I would suggest to read that chapter, because it's really it's amazing stuff.
That's what I need. That's really what helpful. I need, Natacha.
And as a general pointer, actually, if you are a coach and you're working with people and you're looking for a general way of going about that, how would that series of session look like? Then we know for a 4, a 5, and a 9, go and explore the body in whatever shape or form. For the 1, the 2, and the 6, go and explore the intelligent, open mind. For the 3, the 6, and the 8, go and explore the heart. And guess what's going to happen? Resistance, of course, because what will happen if we would explore that missing part in the triad, in the law of 3, it's as if personality would dissolve. Everything's fine when a healthy 4 is out and about participating in stuff. Wrong with
I feel the power of it, Natacha. It's extremely powerful.
And so it's withdrawing is a necessary thing, for instance, but it's not enough. It's only when we withdraw, we need to come up. Otherwise, the intelligence get lost. The intelligence behind it is really to gather information in the heart, in the mind with the 5, in the body with the 9. Is it balanced internally and externally for the 9, not only externally? That's the trap of the 9. And so it's amazing how this theory is explained and how useful it is in all the work we're doing, actually.
Yeah, Jim, my curiosity is going off the charts. I just love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Jim, did you have a question? Or were you waving at somebody in your background?
No, she just said 5, 4, 9, and I'm going.
Oh, I knew a guy.
Join the club.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
Sam.
Yeah, I just had a really a bit of an aha moment. You were talking about the blind spot in your blind spot, and looking at my blind spot, I figured out it was the 513 space, and then my husband is a 513, and is a complete mystery to me, but also often says things that are immensely helpful to me, because he just joins dots that I just can't join on my own, and does this kind of piece of when I'm in reactivity, he can do he can do a piece of thinking that isn't available to me. But then when he does it, I can recognize it as, oh yeah, that's the bit I was missing. So I found that immensely helpful. I've been grappling quite a lot, you know, in the session with the complexity of the material. And I recognize how much has gone into the work that you've shown us today. I know I've got lots more that I'll get from, you know, looking at the slides. But that aha moment was, oh, that's why this guy was a good idea for me.
Yeah, great. And yes, we need time for this. So we went through real quick. It's like, come on, next. So that's way too quick. We need time to let it sink in layer by layer. And another thing I wanted to remind you of, it is only not available to you when you're not present. And so keeping your daily practice is really, really important, because when you're in a tough space, the chances are just higher that you will remember, because it's all there. It's not available to you. That's just the illusion. That's the narrative of your type right there in the space for you to remember. And in this case, well, it depends in the gut, in the heart, or in the mind, and preferably all of it, but that's a stretch. But the more we practice with this, and that's the juicy thing actually, the more we practice with this and our personality starts to discover that actually we get more what we want, and it's not against our personality, boof, the thing breaks open. And you really start to do it more and more and more, because this high, nice energy is actually addictive also for a personality. It's like, and it's also narcissism. The story I was talking about that happened like early this week, I could feel like there's actually some pride around here, kind of, I resolved this situation, I kind of, this was awesome, I did this, and not if it weren't for me, we're still fighting over there, all of us. So that's narcissism. I am very aware of it. That's my personality kind of making me believe that. But so what? We have our personality. It will be with us. We don't even get rid of it. So if there's a win-win, and I'm a little proud of my accomplishment here, good for me, right? So it's how we learn. And this, for me, it's not about us in the end. It's about the greater good. It's about the unity. It's about how we could change this world, all of us, if we bring something else. And if you are Enneagram informed, that's tremendously useful, because it doesn't get more precise than this. No way. This is like, yeah, like you said, the blind spot in the blind spot is like amazing. That's such a detail, and it's available to us in any given moment if we remember. So I wish you a lot of great explorations with this.
Thank you.
Jim?
Okay, Jim does have a question now.
Yeah. So you said we would be getting the slides. How does that happen?
I will share the information with Renate and Ingrid today, and I guess they will distribute it further on with the recording. I guess that's the way it happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as soon as we upload the recording to YouTube, then I'll send out a mail with the recording and the slides.
And it's only the slides to get these toolboxes to print and these handy one-pager kind of stuff things. So feel free to use.
Natacha, thank you for being so kind and generous with you.
Of course, that's why there would be no use in making this stuff and then not do anything with it, or use it only for myself. And so that's the whole meaning behind it. So I'm really grateful that you enjoyed it and want to test it out in practice and give me feedback if it's shit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
That was extraordinary.
Right.
Thank you, everybody.
No more questions?
No, I think that's a wrap.
Fantastic.
Thanks, everyone.
Go to cute doggies.
See you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Everybody.